Hi everyone, today a look at titration curves. These are graphs or stylized curves that show the change in pH as an acid is being added to a base, or vice versa, a base being added to an acid. If the overall shape of the curve is going down, that means we're adding an acid to a base, but if the overall shape of the curve is going up, we have a base being added to an acid. There's four really key pHs to keep track of in order for us to be able to identify strong versus weak acids and bases. Strong acids are going to have a pH less than 2. Weak acids a pH greater than 2, but of course less than 7. Strong bases will have a pH greater than 12, and weak bases a pH less than 12, but more than 7. The main thing that we're looking for in these titration curves are these vertical sections, where the center of a vertical section corresponds to what we call an endpoint. Here, there's a vertical section, and the center of that vertical section is the endpoint. The number of endpoints corresponds with the number of protons transferred. So if a graph had two endpoints, a vertical section and a second vertical section, two endpoints would mean 2 protons were transferred during this titration. An endpoint has 2 specific data points that it refers to. If this is the endpoint, it corresponds to a pH. With that pH, we could convert it into pOH. With that pH, we could do a calculation in order to determine the hydronium ion concentration. If we converted it into pOH, we could do a calculation for the hydroxide ion concentration. The endpoint also corresponds to a volume of titrant added. So, a titration curve, it's a graph or a stylized curve that shows the addition of an acid to a base or a base to an acid. What we're really focused on are pHs in order to identify if we had a strong or a weak acid or base, and these endpoints, vertical sections on the graph that correspond with a proton transfer. The number of endpoints is the same as, is equal to the number of protons transferred. And when we find a vertical section on a graph, it corresponds with the pH, which we might have to do something with, and it also corresponds with a volume added. And I hope that helps.